Hello everyone, and welcome to my walkthrough on my Claris Connect custom connectors article. This walkthrough will be provided as a supplementary resource for if you want to download the demo file and go through the process of making Claris Connect's new custom connectors work for you in your FileMaker file. So I've got the steps listed here. You will need to download this file from the article, like I have said, and then you'll need to host that and deploy it to one of your servers. This needs to be actually on a server so that it can connect to Claris Connect's service. So I've got this hosted, we can check this part off. Next, we're going to want to go to our Claris Connect account. We can click this link, be opened to Claris Connect. If you don't already have an account, you'll need to create one and sign in. You can either use a trial or you can use a paid subscription of Claris Connect, which will allow for a greater use of their platform. Now let's go back to the file. Next, what we need to do is we need to create a custom connector for Stripe, the API we're going to be going through today. So we can click on the custom connector JSON, copy that JSON, and let's go back to Claris Connect. What we'll want to do is click Custom Connectors at the top here, create a new connector, and we'll see the default sample. We're going to want to remove this and then paste in what we have copied from the demo file. So let's take a second to look through this JSON and discuss some of the parts about custom connectors. This is a custom connector for the Stripe API that I've created. It is a payment service platform. Claris Connect is now allowing for these custom connectors to be made. These custom connectors are useful as they are a way to use standardized syntax to create connections to different APIs and third-party platforms with little to no authentication needed on the user side. Going through the schema here, we can see there is some general information about what this custom connector is, the API keys needed to use it, what type of authentication we need, for example, bearer here. Then some of the endpoints we can use, like get customers and post charges, basically create charges. Then there are different actions, which will show up on the Claris Connect side of things as different options you can choose when creating your flows. Now let's look at Claris Connect a little more. Okay, then once you have copied this in, you'll go to Save and Test. Great, that succeeded. You want to authenticate at the top here. So now we need an API key to Stripe. So let's go back to our file. We can click here to get a API key. If you do not already have a Stripe account, you will need to create an account and then you'll be navigated to this page. If you're not, you'll just need to go to you can either click on the button again or you'll just need to navigate to the API keys part of this platform. Once we're here, all we're going to need is the secret key at the bottom here. You do not want to show that to anyone, and you don't really want to put that as plain text into as many things as you can. The only thing you'll need it is for inputting it into Claris Connect's tester right here. So you want to copy that key, paste it into here, and then click test, and it should work. And then you'll have authenticated your app, and you can create the custom connector. Great. Next, we're going to look at Claris Connect a little more about how we can set up a flow in a project to work correctly with this custom connector we have just made. So you want to go back to My Projects. You want to create a new flow. I already have one created, but I'll just take a second to show you what it might look like. Create a new flow. The first thing we're going to want to create is a Claris FileMaker server call. This is why the file needs to be hosted and is what gets called by your FileMaker app to connect to Claris Connect. You want to trigger by script. You'll need to sign into the server itself. But I already have this created, so I won't show you that here. So once you assign it to that account, you will get to this screen about connecting this to the FileMaker itself. So there'll be a URL down here. You'll want to copy that. Then we can go back into the file. You will paste it into here. And let's make sure we check off this as we've already looked at the trigger. And then this URL will allow us to actually connect to Claris Connect itself. When I connect here, I've already connected, so I won't do anything, but you'll either get a success or failure. If you need more information on the topic of connecting to Claris Connect, there's a link in my article about another article we have about connecting to Claris Connect. So now we've completed all of our preliminary steps here. But let's take a look at that flow I've created before we actually get to making these calls to the custom connector and the API itself. So like we said, it starts off with a trigger by script, which is a direct link to the FileMaker file. Then we will check what sort of information we're grabbing once we come into this flow. If we are going to make a customer, we will make a call to the custom connector, which will get past the token visa, which is just a hard string for creating a fake payment, as we do not want to be inputting real credit card information here. If there's an error, we will throw an arrow back up to the FileMaker client, which will then display to the user, and then we'll stop. If it is successful, we'll then pass up the correct parameters that we have got from the Stripe API so that we can create a customer in the FileMaker client. The same is true for processing a charge. We pass information. If it is a charge, we'll make a charge payment custom connector. If there's an error, we'll pass that back up to the client. And if it's a success, we will then pass up the relevant information back up to the client so it can be displayed to the user. Great. Now we went through that. Let's go look at how this will actually all work together in the FileMaker client. Let's go to sample. And we can see we have two different options here to create a customer or process a payment. Let's start by creating a customer. Make sure, once again, that you input test data here, and I've provided a fake card there for you to create a customer with. Great. Now we can go down to process a payment. You can choose any of the customers we have created in the application, and we can give it an amount, let's say $55. Let's try to charge that. Great, we got another succeed there. Now if we want to go look and make sure this data is actually passing into the FileMaker client correctly, we can do that here. You can see we have two different tables here that show some of the information that we've obtained from Stripe, like this customer object ID or this charge object ID, and they all see the status as success and payment complete, which is great. If you want to see this information in Stripe itself to verify that you're actually making these calls and is working correctly, we can just go to our Stripe account that you should already have open. Instead of the API keys, you want to go over to customers here, and we can see that the customer I just created is here. If I'm going to go over to payments, we can also see that the payment I just made of $55 is also here. Great, so everything seems to be working now. If you have any need to reach out to us to get custom connectors working in your application itself, feel free to reach out to DB Services and we can try to help you with any of your implementation needs. Thank you.